Hello you guys, and thank y'all for tuning in to Chris Codes. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button because you know you want to, and it helps my channel grow. Notification bell to be notified whenever I drop new content. Comment, subscribe, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, so this Foolishness Friday is going to be really quick. I have not gotten Foolishness Friday out or Makeup in a Message, so I had to do something. I had to get on here, have to stay consistent. You know the drill. So yeah, we're going to watch this short clip and we're going to talk about it. I put this in a Foolishness Friday just because I thought it was kind of funny. I liked her humor in it all, but we need to talk about it, okay? We need to talk about it. So let's go ahead and watch this clip. If you read the title, you probably already know somewhat what this clip is about, but let's go ahead and get into the clip. Video was kind of funny, and I wanted to kind of make this Foolishness Friday a little bit more light instead of me like talking trash about about people. In a way, I'm still doing that. But it's not so serious, but then again it is. So I wanted to talk about waiting 15 years for a man to marry you. I feel like I'll probably go into more detail about this little topic in like a Makeup in a Message or something, because I feel like I could talk all day about this. But I wanted to talk about my views on this. So first, let's talk about how long is too long to wait for a man to make up his mind to marry you. Let's talk about it. In some situations, I feel waiting a while is beneficial, and I think it makes sense. Those situations would be a high school sweetheart or meeting someone at a very young age, and you all kind of stay in a relationship till you were adults. That I get, because people grow, people change. I am not the same person I was when I was 15 or even 20. You know what I mean? Even 25. Okay, I'm dating myself. But I'm not that same person. So I could see meeting your high school sweetheart and you all staying together for over a decade and then finally getting married. That makes sense to me, because you're too young. You're too young. You haven't like seen the world or really know what you really want out of the world. So, or if anything at all, you know, you don't really know yourself yet. So I feel like in that aspect it makes sense. So if that was the case, then that makes sense, but I don't know if it was. Okay, now another instance I feel like we waiting a little bit longer to get married is in cases where you hear people say, oh, you know, we were dating in the past like 10 years ago and we ended up reconnecting, or whatever the case may be. We got married, the marriage didn't work out, we ended up reconnecting, and now we're together. Okay, so you can't really say that's not like we've been together 15 years and he finally decides, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and marry you, I'm gonna make an honest woman out of you. No, you know, that's different. So now that we've discussed the reasons why I feel like this will be okay, let's talk about why it's not. All heard the saying, life is short, and I agree with that statement. And I agree with that because your days are numbered. Okay, you don't know when it's going to be your last, so you want to live your life to the fullest, but you still want to be wise about it, you know. And with that being said, am I going to spend 15 years with you doing wifely duties? Because if you were with them for 15 years, in some point in time, you was cooking, you was probably cleaning, you was probably shacking up, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on now, we're adults. Like 15 years, you telling me y'all weren't having sleepovers, you weren't cooking the meals, you weren't cleaning up after him, and so on and so forth. So I feel like if you were okay with me doing that, you should have been okay with marrying me. Like, I do not get. Now, Come in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong here. Let me know if I'm wrong here, because I don't get it. And I also have never done it. So if you've done it, if you've been in a relationship for 10, 15 years, you all are still boyfriend, girlfriend at 40, you know, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong here, because I'm sure people are in that situation. I've seen people in this situation, but I cannot fathom why any woman would be okay with calling a man they've been with for 15 years their boyfriend. Oh, this is my boyfriend. That sounds so crazy to me. And that's why I consider this a foolishness, because if you've talked to a married man, a lot of times they say they knew that was their wife when they met them. You know what I mean? And typically, even then, I don't say, oh, pop, jump the broom, because people are people. You know, you just never know with them, okay? So I feel like a good cushion, 2 to 3 years. If we're together 2 to 3 years and we don't know where this is going, or it doesn't seem like it's leading to the altar, then I need to be leading to the door, okay?
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie.
Because it doesn't make any sense to me. You all help me make it make sense. Now, what I like her, like blowing the dust off of her vows, I thought that was hilarious. She's like, okay, I knew I wanted to marry you long time ago. It just finally took you this long to marry me. And to me, like, this might just be my mindset, but I feel like, okay, it's giving very much settle. You're settling with me. You wanted to keep me around because you knew I was a great woman, but not good enough to marry. You thought you could do better. And if you think you could do better than me, I don't want you, okay? That's how I view it. Let's continue. Finally, why do I think this is important? Because I feel like we waste a lot of time with men that aren't necessarily for us, when we could just be single and living out your life, doing well, planning for the future, and then running into someone that's worth your while, that will treat you with respect, that will marry you in a reasonable amount of time, that cares about you, you know? Because how can they really care about your mental state or how you're, like, how secure you feel in a relationship if they're willing to drag you along this everlasting road of boyfriend, girlfriend, like no significant titles? If you're not married, you're single. The Bible doesn't talk about dating, you know. They don't talk about your boyfriend, you know, Mary Beth's boyfriend. No, you were either a wife or you were a concubine. Like, they don't talk about that. So it's like, okay, when I'm going into a relationship, I'm looking for what's going to come out of this, not in the sense of what can he do for me, but in the sense of what is this? You know, what is this leading? What is your expectations when a man sits down with your father and he asks, what's your expectations with my daughter? We see this in every movie, okay? When the girl brings a man home and he gets to talk with the dad, one of the first things he asks is, what's your expectations with my daughter? Where do you see this going? Because a lot of times, you know, I met men, now I ain't marrying, but I met men, I'm like, oh, I married him, you know, off rip. Like, you know what you want out of this. Now, could it grow into more? Yeah, that's possible. But 15 years long? 15 years? 10 years? 5, 6 years?
Bitch, you look a mess.
And y'all not even talking about it? We're not even talking about it? That's a problem. That's a problem. Finally, before I go, I feel like we should normalize having these conversations early on. Now, I'm not saying sit down on the first date like, so you gonna marry me or nah? You gonna marry me or not? No, I'm not saying that. Like, let's be realistic. But I am saying we should normalize having conversations about, you know, where do you see yourself in the future? Like, are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking for a situationship? Are you looking for a wife? Are you looking for a husband? We should normalize these questions, because otherwise you set your expectations here, and then when you find out that's not what they're looking for, you're disappointed. But why are you disappointed when you didn't do the research? If you're going to school, they expect you to do research. You don't want no doctor that hasn't done any research. You don't want a dentist that hasn't done any research. You, like, you have to put forth some effort into things that you want. So if you're just dating without an aim, you're dating without a purpose, then you're not looking for a proper outcome. You're not looking for something sustainable. Like, make it make sense. If you go to school and you spend all this school, you take all this time to stay in school, to make good grades, to become something. You want to be a doctor, so you're in school all this time to be a doctor. You want to, let's say, go to the military. If you're in the military, it's basic training and PT and all this jazz to make you into something, a specific outcome that they want. Everything that you want, you have to work for it. Now, it is favor. God brings you favor, but with faith without works is dead. Okay? So all I'm saying is, stop going into these relationships thinking you can wine and dine and woo these men into wanting to marry you, if that's not what they wanted up front. It could be the right person, wrong timing. Maybe they're not in that season in their life where they feel like it's the right time to do that. Maybe they're on the grind. Who knows? And that's not their fault, nor is it your fault. So if you're not aligning, if you're not matching, if you're not on the same path at that point, then take some time and be to yourself. Be single and wait for that right man to come along. But stop waiting decades for a man to choose you. Choose yourself. Anyways, I gotta go. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, because you know you want to. It helps my channel grow. Notification bells will be notified whenever I drop new content. Comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see y'all for the next video. Bye.